What's up, you guys? In this video, I am going to show you this U5T2 wireless audio for video system. That was a lot of words. So this is from the brand Xvive, which I've actually reviewed a few of their products in the past, including a wireless pack that I use all the time as a musician. And as a video creator that's made hundreds of videos, this is going to be super useful for me. So basically, it just is going to allow me to record wireless audio with a lavalier microphone, which is one of those mics that you run through your shirt and clip to your collar, and to send that audio wirelessly without a cable to my camera, technically to a receiver that'll clip on top of my camera with a hot shoe mount that it comes with. There's actually a gain adjustment on the transmitter and on the receiver, so it's really easy to balance the levels and to really make sure I'm getting a quality audio level so it's not clipping or not too low. So one of my favorite things about this is it's actually a stereo system, so I can record myself, the audio wirelessly, and send it to the camera and another person. Like me. So some general just statistics about this system are that it has rechargeable lithium batteries, and they provide up to 5 hours of continuous use, less than 6 milliseconds of latency. I found that I notice latency about 10 milliseconds or more is where I start to notice. Anything under that, I honestly don't notice, and it feels like real time to me. Operates on a 2.4 wireless gigahertz band, which is super smooth, not much interference at all, but it does offer 6 different signals that you can choose from in case there is interference. So what's all included with this? I honestly find it humorous because this is like a whole dang care package. There's so much stuff in here. There is a receiver, 2 transmitters, 3 U5B batteries, 2 Xvive LV1 lavalier microphones, 2 mic clips, 2 windscreens, 1 3.5 millimeter to 3.5 millimeter, that's like your standard aux stereo cable, 1 dual USB charging cable that can charge 2 devices at the same time, and then 1 just single USB charging cable that can charge the receiver, and then 1 pouch to hold it all. So the lavalier microphones that come with this are freaking pro. This is just a small little detail, but it is super satisfying. When you plug it in, it comes with this screw mount, so you can actually lock it in, so there's no way this is coming out unless you unscrew it. That is super pro. The lavalier mic itself, I think, is just pretty standard. A lav mic is a lav mic. It's probably not going to sound as good as any studio mic, and it's omnidirectional, so it picks up from any direction, but it does sound good, and I've been using it the whole video, so you can kind of gauge if that's a sound you like for your videos. This is also pretty standard with lav mics, but it requires 3.3 volts, so it actually requires some power, so it's not something you can just plug into anything at work. But the transmitters actually provide that voltage into the lav, so that's how it works. As for the transmitter, this thing also has a few little details that just make such a big difference. For example, on the side, there's this on button and then a hold, and it took me a second to figure out like how to turn this on. I like switched it to on and it won't stay. It's got like some spring action, but if you hold it on, it then turns on. So there's no way with it working like that an accident is gonna happen, because now if I flip it, nothing happens. It stays on like I want it to, so I can put it on hold. I can hit any of these top buttons that will change functions, and it's not gonna do anything. So once you have it set how you want, you can just put it on hold, and it's gonna stay how you want it to. There's a mic and line level button. So by default, it's on mic. That's where it will send those 3.3 volts to a lav mic through the aux ports. But if you change it to line mode, and that's when the blue LED indicator is on, it can take any standard audio signal. It also has a channel button for changing the channel, and you just hit the channel button to change the channel. I'm gonna have this one on channel 2, and the one I'm actually using right now is on channel 1. It also has a minus and a plus button for more gain, and I love that you can change the gain of the audio signal on the transmitter or the receiver, which is above my camera right now. And then there is a mute button, which turns red when it's on, and that also shows an indicator on here that no audio is going through. And as long as I have this here, to charge the battery, it goes in the bottom here, and they have these nice tabs to pull, So to charge the batteries, they actually have to be in a receiver or a transmitter, and then you can just plug in the micro USB on the side. These clips are super heavy duty. They're like hard to even pull apart. I love these clips, and the size of these things, obviously you can just tell versus my hand, it's super lightweight and super small, which is great, especially for shooting video when you don't want to see these. As for the receiver, which I'm actually using right now, this cable's literally going into my camera. The display is super nice. It's got the same spring action type on-off hold situation on the side. It's got two knobs here. One is for one channel and the other's for the other channel for managing the gain. It's got this M and S mode, which is mono or stereo. Mono is basically, if you think about it being in the center, which is technically the same audio signal on both sides. And if I switch it to S, that stereo mode, I'm just gonna be on one side. So I'm gonna switch it back to mono, there we go. Stereo mode is perfect for having one audio channel on the left and one on the right, and then you don't have to edit any audio or sync it after. All you would have to do is mix them so you have separate control of the levels and then bring them to the center in video editing. I also love that it has a hot shoe mount. This is so standard for DSLR mics, so I can just mount this on top of my camera as I just had it. And this is a super nice touch. I got the receiver here, and you can see this is green because I am synced up with the current one that I'm wearing. And if I turn channel 2 on and the channels are synced up, now the other green one goes on. But if I change the channel of this channel 2, now the green light went off, and it'll come back on when both are on the same channel and it's receiving it. There we go. So I'm just super impressed by the usability of this. It's super instinctive, which I honestly just really appreciate because it's such a pain when there's confusing symbols or no labels on certain buttons. So there's actually two applications I want to test here and make sure they work great. First one is using a lavalier into a transmitter, and that transmitter wirelessly sending the audio to a receiver above my camera, and then that audio going from the receiver through the cable that comes with this kit into the camera, which is right here, and I've been doing it the whole time. So cool, done. The other application I want to test is actually from two different mics with two different transmitters and on stereo mode from the receiver instead of mono mode, which automatically puts it in the center. And I'm not gonna edit that after in video, so you'll actually hear what's going on with the signals here when I put it on stereo mode. So I'm gonna turn on this second transmitter. Here we go, I have it on channel 2. We are all synced up on the receiver. So I currently have it on mono mode, so everything's centered right now. I got channel 2 and channel 1. So now I'm gonna put it on stereo mode, so it should isolate these. So one is on the left and one's on the right. So I have channel 2 muted. I have this one muted, but this one's obviously on and should be on the left side. And then I'm gonna mute channel 1 now and unmute channel 2. And here we have channel 2 coming in on the right side, which my camera is showing. So sweet, it works. Another fast way to test this. Check, 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 check. Pretty straightforward, really easy to use. The last thing I want to check is the range of this signal because audio dropouts are not cool and not passable. So unfortunately, these wireless systems need to be like pristine signal or it's just not honestly worth it. So let's take this outside. I'm gonna walk at least 100 feet away from my camera and we'll see how it holds up. Dang, it's bright out. So I'm at a park near my house and I'm just gonna keep walking this time until it stops working. So let's see how far we get. I'm gonna count my steps on the way there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. So there was one dropout at about 27 steps, which my stride is about 3 feet per step. So 27 times 3, 81 feet. That's about in the tier that they're advertising. So unless you're shooting 81 feet or further, I think you'll be fine. The other thing to be careful about is if you have walls in the way. So the more walls and disturbances in between the receiver and transmitter are obviously going to decrease that distance, but for any reasonable thing you're shooting, this should be no problem. Something to note too, after that first dropout at 27 steps, the next one was at around 50. So maybe it was a fluke. They happened a bunch at 50 strides. That's more like 150 feet away. So I do think it's pretty accurate that it's about 100 feet that you can comfortably depend on. on, but I would keep the distance as low as possible just so you know you're covered. So all in all, I'm really impressed with this system. I'm definitely gonna use it in a lot of future videos. And I thought I would make a pros and cons list from using this the past few hours and just my experience of figuring it out. So as for pros, I love how lightweight and small it is. I also think it's crazy easy to learn. The fact that there's only 6 channels makes it so fast and easy to get it synced with the receiver, and the fact that the receiver turns green when it's synced up. I also think it's a strength that the batteries are not built in, that you can take them out and interchange them or use one as a spare. I love the heavy duty clips. I love the cable locks on the Lavalier mic cable. Being able to switch between mono and stereo mode is so nice and will just save some time in video editing. Less than 6 milliseconds of latency, and I was really impressed with the range. I'm not worried about that at all for shooting videos. As for the cons, I also had this on the pros list, but I think it's a con as well that there's only 6 channels. Now that makes it really usable and really easy and fast to sync it up, but if no 6 of those work well, like I live in Minneapolis, so by Mall of America or some place where there's just hundreds of Wi-Fi networks around, I'm a little nervous that the 2.4 gigahertz band of frequencies might just be flooded with different frequencies and tons of interference. And then another con is that there's no charger brick included. It would be really nice to not have to plug these cables in to 2 different USB ports. It'd be nice if I could just put all the batteries in like a brick or some kind of thing and just charge that one brick so I can charge all the batteries with just one cable. Or even just doing it this way with these cables. For how complete of a package this is, it just kind of feels like they would include that, but that's really not a big deal as it's pretty cheap to find on your own anyway. I also just love that it comes with this like leathery looking pouch. It's just so pro, comes with warranty card and manual and everything too. This whole thing just makes sure that you're so covered and have everything you need to record 2 different people at the same time wirelessly. So that being said, if you're interested in picking this up, you can check out the link below to get your U5 wireless audio for video system. I'm never gonna get used to that combination of words, honestly, but you can pick that up in the description. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.